This is Eagle Owl, and today I'll be talking about Quez Watkins. He signed to the Steelers. Also, we got to talk about Squan Barkley and why I believe he will ball out this up and coming season. Lastly, we got to talk about Howie Roseman. He spoke to the media and he was silent on Haason Reddick. But let's get straight into it. All right, so let's just get straight into the topics. Let's just get straight into the Quez Watkins topic. Signed with the Steelers, heard it's a 1 year deal. Not sure how much. Quez, a guy with a lot of potential, man. A lot of potential. But you only could say potential for too long. I mean, 4 years with the Philadelphia Eagles. That 2021 season it was marvelous. I mean, it was great by Quez Watkins. We talking about 600 plus yards. Um, Caught everything. I mean, he was catching everything. Like he was a true, number two guy on the team. Smitty had 900. He had 600. They had a rookie, Jalen Hurts. They did all they could. Or what's that? A rookie, Jalen Hurts, or second year, something like that. They did all they could with a young Jalen Hurts per se. I would just put that out there. They did all they could with a young Jalen Hurts, and he just never developed. You found yourself saying the same thing about Quez Watkins. If he could get the route running developed and the hands a little better, he'll be good. But you only could see that for too long, and this year was just the last straw. Again, he was fickle by the fans. His hands were questionable. He was hurt. You know, he just couldn't be that true number three that we needed. Like you need your number three to be reliable. Yes, he got burners and yes, his speed helped space out the field, but when we needed to give him the ball, he just wasn't catching it, or he'll make boneheaded plays. Always bring up the screenplay against LA because it pissed me off. But the Steelers, I mean, he got an opportunity to redeem himself. He'll be playing with a veteran quarterback, even if it's Justin Fields or Russell Wilson. Hopefully, it's Russell Wilson for him because he definitely need that. He might be the number two there, depending on what they do with Johnson. I know they got um Pickens there. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with that wide receiver core. And Quez got a chance to resurrect his career. See what he can do. But man, hopefully that potential, blossom. Hopefully, he find his home. As Philadelphia just wasn't it for him, right? All right, so let's talk about Howie Roseman. Disclaimer: this is probably gonna be a long segment about Howie Roseman. Didn't really get any audio of him talking, but he spoke a lot about just the state of the Eagles. He spoke about how the Eagles, we're still in it. Like he's always looking to win each and every year. I mean, I'm not surprised. These past couple years, our Super Bowl window is still open, even though people thought it was closed, but it's definitely still open. It's wide open at this point, especially with the signees we got. And he talked about the signees. So he talked about like Zach Byrne, remember him from New Orleans, and he said Vic Fangio picked him out and they really like him coming off the edge, and he reminds them of a player. He didn't want to name the player, but I think he was alluding to Van Kinkel, or I think that's the guy name in Miami. A lot of the Eagles fans wanted, but unfortunately we wasn't able to get him. Great, but maybe under Vic Fangio he can bring that out of him. Hopefully, we talked about signing Oren Burks, and he spoke about how he likes him, especially we needing a linebacker and a special teams guy. And he was a captain of the special teams with the 49ers. So he really liked him as a developmental piece. He also spoke about CJ Garner Johnson as well. And the things he said about CJ Garner Johnson is like, yeah, we really missed him. We missed that swagger, and we need that back in Philadelphia. I totally agree. CJ Garner Johnson's swagger was definitely missed. No offense to the guys that were there, but you just knew something was off. I mean, Brandon Graham, his leadership, he's outspoken, but you needed that other guy. You definitely needed that other guy, and that was CJ Garner Johnson, a guy that's going to annoy you and a guy that's going to play at a high level. So I'm happy Howie Roseman seen the light. And speaking of CJ Garner Johnson, what if I told you his cap hit was 2.6 million this year? You'd be like, no way. You're lying, Eagle Owl. His cap hit is 2.6 million. So look, CJ Garner Johnson, Saquon Barkley, Bryce Huff, I think all they cap hits combined is like 14.4 million. I'm missing a guy. Saquon Barkley, CJ Garner Johnson, Devin White, all these dudes, man. Cap hits combined 14.4 million. And even adding CJ Garner Johnson cap hit to the cap, we still around 33. Still around 33-ish. So we might be in the 28-ish, 29-ish once all the cap hits are released. Far as for each and every player, I'm telling you, man, Howie, even after the draft, he's going to have a lot of cap space to work with. So shout out to Howie Roseman. Again, working the cap, man. King of the cap. So, yeah, man. Again, shout out to Howie Roseman. Howie Roseman also spoke about Saquon Barkley. And then how Saquon Barkley, he's going to bring, an element to the Eagles. And then, Howie Roseman had to check people. He's like, yo, when did I never pay like running backs? I paid Brian Westbrook when I was in charge. Shoot, I paid Shady McCoy when I was in charge. He couldn't claim the DeMarco Murray thing because that was a Chip Kelly thing, and now he paying Saquon Barkley. So the three running backs I named, for him to pay the running backs like a boatload of money, they got to be special to him. And so far, he's 2 for 2. Hopefully, Saquon again is still that same Saquon, so he'll be 3 for 3. So he's very careful of the running backs he paid. No offense to like the Miles Sanders and stuff that was here, but if you're special and you're a special running back, Howie Roseman would definitely pay you. But let's stay on the topic of Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley, I believe, is going to ball out this year. Why do you say that? Well, the NFL came out with some rules, unless you live under a rock, that hip drop tackle is officially banned. But let's go ahead and play this clip. And I'm sorry for the audio. This is all I found, far as like the NFL committee talking about the hip drop tackles. But don't really pay too much attention to the audio. Look at the tackles that are being banned.
And unawaiting yourself as a defender and landing on your opponent's legs. You've heard us say before that the injury rate, this sort of tackle compared to a typical tackle, is at least 20 times more. We came to that from reviewing about 20,000 videos of tackles. The injury rate, we see it 20 times the others. We see a time loss injury about once a week now, which is an increase year over year. We see the tackle occur about once a game, which is up 65% year over year. So it's increasing in frequency. The sorts of injuries, as you can see here, the high ankle sprains, the ligament injuries, fractures, lead to substantial time loss. So grateful after all the work that was done by the engineers and certainly by the health and safety.
You see, you can't even tackle the guys from behind. To me, that's insane. That's crazy. But I try to get the positive out of it. Now, as a rule, I'm indefinitely hate, especially for my defensive side of the ball. But offensive side of the ball, who's tackling Jalen Hurts without hip drop tackling him? Who's tackling Saquon Barkley from behind without hip drop? Who's tackling A.J. Brown from behind without hip drop tackling him? Hell, don't underestimate Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. Anytime Dallas Goedert got hurt, it was a dirty hit. Who's bringing him down without a hip drop tackle? So I get it. And I really didn't bring this into play until I'm thinking about it now. I seen like a couple days ago, the NFL was complaining about teams not scoring enough points, like the average of points are going down. I think this is a play for teams to score more points. And also they saying they trying to protect the players. But what about the defensive players? Now they got to do weird adjustments to their bodies to avoid, penalties. But a 15-yard penalty and a first down, automatic first down for a hip drop tackle. I get it. They don't want the guys landing on I guess the players landing on the offensive players' lower extremities, like they legs. Basically, when you hip drop tackle, your body goes into like the ankles and legs. And a lot of players have been getting hurt doing that. But to me, it's football. You get paid a lot of money to play a sport like this. So I don't like the rule, man. AJ Brown got hurt against the Giants due to this tackle. And I'm saying, like, yo, I don't want it gone. I really don't want it gone, man. I don't at all. So I think it's a bad idea. But hey, I think Saquon, with this rule, our offense gonna go insane. Our offense gonna go crazy. And then back to the defense, we're gonna talk about Haason Reddick. That's why you gotta look at guys like Haason Reddick and some of these defensive players. Why pay them so much? To keep it real, why pay them so much if they could barely tackle? Why pay them so much? But Howie Roseman was asked about Haason Reddick. Let's talk about it. And he was silent on it. He's not talking about it. We all know his bonus was pushed back to April 1st. Personally believe Haason Reddick will be traded. It's definitely being stalled out for sure. But I really think he's going to be traded unless they really come to like a money agreement type thing. But I honestly don't see how Haason Reddick will fit. I've been watching Vic Fangio's scheme a lot more. I just don't see the fit. I simply don't see the fit. And Howie Roseman was smart not to speak on it because he don't want to give away his hand. But I don't see the fit, man. I'm telling you. Go back and watch some Dolphins, like the Broncos. Really watch Vic Fangio, what he do with the edges. Yeah, he rushed them from time to time, but he really like to drop them in coverage, and Haason Reddick will be a liability. He needs to be in the 4-3 where so he can rush the passer. Watch Haason Reddick when he was with the Cardinals like the first 2 years or so. When they wanted to drop him back and do all this and all that, Haason Reddick was a liability. Until he was like, yo, I just want to rush the passer. And that's when he came along. I just don't see the fit in Vic Fangio's scheme. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? Squan Barkley, the rule change, all the players, the cap hits. Hey, man, Howie is a wizard. Quez Watkins never lived up to the potential. But I wish him the best of luck. This is Eagle Owl, man. I'm a